Friends, Tagore is such a colossus that to give a holistic view in 5 minutes is next to impossible. So I won't attempt the impossible, or poets are supposed to be aspiring for the impossible. However, since there are many ambassadors from Spanish-speaking countries, one must recall the great contribution the Spanish-speaking people, both in Latin America and Spain, have made to Tagore's canonization. Tagore is supposed to be a great painter. He is ranked with Amrita Shergill and Jamini Rai as the trinity of the Indian modernism. Although he was not originally a painter, he painted only towards the end of his life for 10 years. And that too by doodling, cutting his poems, cutting lines and things, and he became a great poet. And the first ever exhibition, and the only exhibition he ever had in his life, was organized in Paris by Vittoria Ocampo from Argentina. Pablo Neruda, another Nobel Prize winner later, included a poem which was an exact translation of Rabindranath Tagore's poem in his first collection, and invited scathing criticism. He realized his mistake. He had translated Tagore, but he translated it with such passion that he thought it is his. So he included that in the next book, next edition. The poem was removed. A third Nobel laureate, Gabriela Mistral, again had written 3 prose poems. She never wrote prose poems, but the 3 prose poems which are after Tagore. It is acknowledged by her, and I saw them recently when they were translated to English. I didn't know about it. So actually, Tagore had been a major figure there. There are episodes of Tagore which are well worth recording. His conversation with Albert Einstein, the two colossus meeting, and the discussion is on truth. Tagore insists that truth is a human invention, that there is no truth which is not humanly perceived. And of course, for the scientist Albert Einstein, this was unacceptable. He got exasperated. He said, no, supposing he named some odd galaxy. He said, that galaxy, isn't it true? He said, if we don't perceive it to be true, it won't be true. And point came when both were agreeing to disagree. And then they discussed music, Indian classical music and the Western classical music, and the difference between the two of them. I had once an occasion to go to University of Milan, and I was to deliver a lecture. And there's somebody who was speaking before that, and the rector of the university was sitting next to me. And this person who was speaking in Italian kept on saying, Tagore, Tagore. So I thought Tagore was some Italian archaeologist or anthropologist who must have excavated some obscure part of India. So I asked the rector, who's this Tagore? And he got the shock of his life. He said, Tagore, you're a great poet. Then I realized that Tagore becomes Tagore and whatever, it keeps on becoming here and there. Anyway, Tagore went to Japan, and he was a great traveler. He perhaps is the most widely traveled Indian writer ever, at least the first one. And he went to Japan, and he was very popular, so thousands of people came to receive him at the port. But he gave some statements in Japan which were against militarism and against whatever. From Japan he went to Korea. When he returned from Korea, there were only 6 persons to see him, bid him farewell. But that did not deter Tagore. Tagore was a hugely courageous man who had the gumption to disagree publicly with Mahatma Gandhi, not once, but many a time. Tagore was a great poet, a great painter, a great musician. There's no other music in the Indian tradition which is named after a person. Rabindra Sangeet is the only one. Perhaps there is some tradition in elsewhere of that kind. But let me finish before he shows me the red. There is I want to read a Hindi translation done by Prayag Shukla of a poem from Gitanjali. वेला बीती सांझ हुई अब, फैली धरती पर छायाएं, चलें घाट पर चलकर अपना घट भर लाएं, धारा कलकल सांध गगन का अंतर आकुल, बुला रहा पथ पार मुझे वह होकर विभल, वहां विजन पथ है एकाकी, है न एक जन, प्रेम नदी उपनाई है उत्ताल प्रभंजन, बिना मिले फिर होगा फिरना, या कि अचीन्हे के संग मिलना, वही घाट पर बजा रहा जो अपनी वीणा, फैली चलती धरती पर छायाएं, चलो घाट पर चलकर अपना घट भर लाएं। हम जो छुटभइये कवि हैं, कभी कभी रविंद्रनाथ के घाट पर जाकर अपना घट भर लाते हैं।